ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday, and I've got some things for you lined up for a broadcast at the good old 7 o'clock spot. It's like being at home. 7 o'clock is like the home away from home. No matter where I am, whenever 7 o'clock p.m. hits, suddenly there's a tug, and there's a little voice inside of me that says, why aren't you at the studio right now? You lazy son of a bitch, you're letting people down. Well, that. I'm here tonight, and I've got a couple of things for you. And again, it was one of those, it's an example of how I can throw together a show really, really quick. And I wonder what the hell I do with the rest of my day. Because when I got here, I switched up the entire show. Then again, no, it's not. That's not really how simple it is, because it's not an easy process for me. What happened is that I had most of tomorrow already written and all of today already written, and I realized that some of the stuff I was going to do tonight would actually be a lot better to do with Fleckus tomorrow night, and hopefully Matt, if he's here. I was going to do that a little bit more. It's a nostalgia kind of a throwback kind of a thing. It's intergenerational analysis of, I should say, it's an analysis of how some members of Generation Z and projecting onto Generation Alpha are assessing their own generation, especially how going back through time and being able to peer into the way that societal conditions were for kids their age 30, 40, 50 years prior, where the species hasn't changed, but the conditions have, where everybody inside of it is really affected. And they start longing for a time they never knew. I think it's a really interesting perspective because it's being written from the Gen Z perspective. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? This would be great to read through with Fleckus tomorrow, stop along the way, have conversations, take calls. So tonight, we're going to do a little bit of spillover. I have a topic that I want to bring up that is left over from Monday night with Lubomir Arsov and Rob. I think that's going to be a really interesting one because it's based on an email that came in. Then we have some more on Tartaria, just a little bit up front, and a really short, sweet read on that too. But there's extras along the way. There's your calls. The lines are going to be open. And I am really excited to do it all because Thursday nights tend to be one of my favorite nights of the week, where we can be serious, deep. We can start really chilling out, having a good time, getting ready to land the plane on Friday night. So that's what we have. And again, the lines are going to be open, 914-200-0269. Make sure you got it down because it's going to be... That's it. There's going to be plenty to comment on, and you'll be able to bring your own shit to the table. Just make sure that it's interesting, because people can't stand when it's not interesting. And I can only help you so far. I can only polish a turd so much before the turd disappears. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have for you tonight. Thank you so much, and let's go and thank our sponsors, BlueMonsterPrep.com. BlueMonsterPrep.com, go ahead. The most important thing there, I think, right now is communication, some water filtration, and then again, like I said, if you don't know where to start or how to budget or anything like that, get in touch with Pat and Gina. They're wonderful, and it's getting easier and easier to plug them these days. I'd also say go and check out QuiteFrankly.gold. Our good friend Tony Arterburn with all of your gold and silver needs, your monthly allotments, whatever. He's got all types of stuff. If you're looking to buy your first ounce of silver for somebody, he's got all, like around Christmas time, I always buy silver from him. He says, you got any Christmas prints? Of course we do. Last year I gave everybody silver, the manger printed on it, Santa Claus the year before, holly, mistletoe, yeah, everybody gets silver. Go ahead, take it. And then that's it. Easy for Christmas. Everybody gets a piece of silver each. And then they lose it. And nobody, especially you give a silver to a nephew or a niece, you've been keeping track of all your silver? Yeah, they keep track of it. They keep track of it, all right. We'll see. We'll see when the shit hits the fan who's in good shape and who's not. Then I'll be able to laugh at them because I'll have time to laugh. All right, that's what I have. And just remember, all of the, quite frankly, Elevation Roast Coffee. This week, all throughout Sunday, whoever buys a bag, their name gets entered into the giveaway that's announced on Monday. Who's going to get the big time coffee maker? That's what we're doing for Mother's Day. 7% off and blah de blah. All right. Matt is going to be very happy to hear, if he hasn't already, that Baron Trump is officially starting to plot his rise to the throne. Like I said, this is the member of the family I really want to talk to. Baron Trump. Please ignore the chaos that is. What the hell is happening now? Security alert. You have visited illegal infected website. You have visited unsafe site with illegal content. Your PC is at risk. This is from being on the Daily Mail. Yeah, you take your ad blocker off for a second on the Daily Mail, then you get this shit. So, okay, well that's the extent of the article I'm going to tell you. Baron Trump is going to be a delegate in Florida during, I guess, the nomination, for the official nomination process. I think he's registered as a delegate. So it has begun. That's right. I should have had that ready. Don't I have it over here? I do. It has begun. That's right. Conjuring. That's the soul of Baron. I'm sure Matt is very happy. Let's see here. 3 Boeing crashes in 2 days. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? 3 Boeing crashes in 2 days. Terrified passengers scramble to escape burning jet. Can you see? Look at the computer right now. Look at what the Daily Mail did to themselves. Because I guess they can't make money. What the hell am I... This... If I had epilepsy, I'd have a problem. You guys saw that just disappear, right? Terrified passengers scramble to escape burning jet in Senegal, and tire explodes on 737 landing in Turkey 24 hours after nose gear failure caused a 767 to slam into the runway. A Boeing plane's tire burst. Why do they keep spelling it Tyre? Do some people spell it that way? His spleen burst. A Boeing plane's tire burst during landing in Turkey today. The third passenger aircraft built by the manufacturing giant to suffer a technical problem or crash in just 2 days. It's been a great year for Boeing. A total of 190 people were evacuated from the aircraft of the Boeing 737-800 belonging to Turkey-based Corendon Airlines, stopped on the runway after landing at Gazipaşa Airport near the Mediterranean coastal town of Alanya. Well, I'm happy everybody got off all right. 190 people. At least, all things considered, thank God they got off. Pictures from the scene today show the stationary aircraft on the tarmac flanked by emergency vehicles, its front wheels and landing gear crumpled underneath. Corendon Airlines denied Turkish reports that the aircraft had landed on its nose. While none of the 184 passengers and 6 crew members in the flight from Cologne, Germany to Turkey were injured, the dramatic landing was just the latest in a string of hair-raising incidents involving Boeing planes. And that's it. Okay, goodbye. I guess Daily Mail doesn't want me to read it because I have to read about low output, touch-up light spaces. What the fucking... You know what? It's not my business. To hell with them. I'll just improvise the news from now on. Here you go. This one won't have any ads on it, I'm sure. It's from the Sun. See this guy? He was cutting off people's genitalia. The Eunuch Maker is finally behind bars. Did you guys know he was on the loose? I didn't. These are the kind of things we need to know. Everybody's like, well, we had an asteroid that just missed the Earth the last... I don't care. That thing hit the... What the hell is warning going to do for me if an asteroid hits the Earth? Just let it happen and let me be surprised. But if somebody's running around that's cutting off dicks, let me know who I should be looking for. The Eunuch Maker, Marius Gustafsson, who removed victims' genitals to stream on extreme body mod site, is jailed for life. Oh my... Oh. The cannibalistic ringleader of a Eunuch Maker gang who chopped off victims' genitals to stream on a body modification website has been jailed. Marius Gustavsson, 46 years old, ate cooked testicles. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to do this. Ate cooked testicles for lunch in an artfully arranged salad platter. There he is. He doesn't look like he's upset about anything. That's right, I did it. This is horrible. Oh, man, he used that tiny little knife. Oh, my. Oh, wait, this is the knife he used to remove his own penis. Get your hand off my penis! This is
Democracy Manifest.
Wow, he cut his own dick off. This guy's not. Well, you know what? He, at least he didn't do anything he wasn't willing to do to himself, which doesn't make any of this better, to be honest. The Norwegian national also masterminded a lucrative website where 22,841 users paid to watch men have their privates removed so they could become nullos, I guess eunuchs. 22,841 people paid money. They were subscribers. This really makes me wonder what the hell I'm doing wrong. I mean, I'm very happy for what I have. Very happy. Very happy that this is just what we can do now forever. For as long as the time we have, this is my life. I love it. But to think that I could be cutting off testicles and I may have 30,000 people paying me $5 a month. What was the average person paying? 22,841 people. If they paid even $5 a month, somebody's paying at least 20. You do the math. Somebody call in with the math later on, because I'm not doing it right now. Gustavsson made almost 300,000 pounds through the Extreme site, with some punters forking out 100 pounds a year subscriptions. Well, there's some money for you. And what is that? I think it's like I think like $1.25. I think one United States dollar is like $1.25 in England to the pound. I don't know if this the British pound. I don't know. So we got exchange rates to consider here too. Somebody out there do the math and please get in touch with me. In one shocking video, the Eunuch Maker, who had his own penis cut off, the tip of his nipple removed and his leg frozen so that it had to be amputated, is seen tasting another man's severed stuff. This is the world. Body parts were also kept in a freezer at his North London home. His own manhood was discovered in a drawer 4 years after he sliced it off. So there you have it. The Eunuch Maker is not on the prowl anymore, but there is at least 23,000 people who paid to watch him cut people's stuff off that are still out there. Those are just the ones that we can account for. Never assume you know a person all the way through. 914-200-0269. Let's get this on the road. And before we go on the road, I would like to say that for anybody who did contribute a little bit to Captain Wiggles' baby's GoFundMe, her son, Ben, toddler, has got a lot of issues right now, but has doctors that is willing to take care of him. They have a lot of stuff to do, but they surpassed their goal very quickly. And I'm happy to hear that. And of course, if you still want to send a little their way, I'm sure they're not going to say no thank you. This is a very trying time for them. I'm just happy to see that it had to be a lot more people than just our audience, obviously, but so happy to see that because my heart goes out to that little boy, Ben, and I can't wait to hear about his recovery. So thank you all so much who did that. I shared the link afterwards, and I put it in all the descriptions of last night's episode. All right, with that, let's get the show started. It's just you and I tonight, and that's exciting to me. We'll be right back.
In 2017.
Hey! You guys!
Wow. So in 2017,
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
I wonder if anybody puts that clip into rotation as much as I do. Muffingate. Oh, Zach, you left us all with a gem. See, those are the things that people remember you by. It's crazy. You can do all the work in the world, and you can try to steer and make it so that people remember you for a specific thing. But it's something like your dogs trying to rip each other apart at your feet during a broadcast. That will just always bring a smile to somebody's face. No matter how good the work you do over years, it doesn't matter. If I need to smirk, I'll think of Muffingate, among other things, of course. But hey, thank you so much, guys and gals, for being here tonight. Remember, if you want to send in a super chat, there is the QR code on the screen. It's the Universal Super Chat. As you know, I have been permanently demonetized on YouTube for a long time, already 4 years or so, and that's when I said, you know what, we got to get away from this, and we have to have something that we can control. So no matter where you're watching live, or even if you're listening on demand, you can always send a super chat right now to be read live, or for me to read it tomorrow. Let's say it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're listening to this on rerun. Well, you can send a super chat right now. There it is. All right, so here's what we have. A little bit from the audience, one audience member on Gilded. On Gilded, IAB32 said the following this morning. I was tagged in something. Hey, frankly, just reached out to my Russian brother who lives in New Serbia, Russia. I grew up with him in Kazakhstan, which is also a part of ancient Tartaria, according to the maps. Anyway, I asked him what he knew about Tartaria, and this was his response. He said, well, let's do it this way. The history of Tartaria is still officially the fantasy of dudes who believe in alternative history. That is, when discussing this, you and I admit at the start that all of this is fiction. Yes, I read everything found about Tartaria. It was a huge multinational, multicultural empire. The main language was Sanskrit, which we still speak today, since Russian is slightly modified Sanskrit. The history of Tartaria is hidden and prohibited. There is no official evidence, at least in the hands of the population, but I think that there are a couple of inconvenient historical artifacts lying around in secret places of the Kremlin. The only tiny piece of evidence is that one day, Putin on TV congratulated our patriarch on his birthday and gave him a map of Tartaria made about 600 years ago. Well, there are plenty of people who would say that maybe the Kremlin has a little something and maybe the Vatican has the rest. You don't know. I think the biggest thing here is there's probably multiple instances where the world was wiped away and remade, and who the hell knows, where you were standing, what happened there 5,000-10,000 years ago sometimes. There's the official story, and then there's who the hell knows. But I think the real thing that is interesting to people, especially over here in the Western Hemisphere, in the United States and elsewhere, when you read into stuff like this, it's not that people feel like they've been rooked of participation in some kind of a grand worldwide civilization that shared a common culture and all that stuff, because there's no indication for me that there was a common culture. You know, you have European culture that obviously laid the foundations for what we have here in the United States, but it's very obvious that the world was and continues to be, in a great degree, a very diverse place. What we do want to see is the suppression of lost or hidden technology go away. We know that there's just so many things that we're living around right now that just feel so primitive, that our medical practices are still so barbaric in many ways, and they just defy any kind of sense. You know that there's something going on. You know that there's something to frequency. You know that there's something to paying mind to the kind of electromagnetic chaos that we're living in, and what that does to us. Just based on what we know, frequency, what sound does to a droplet of water, how the hell can it not affect us when we're 70% water? So to think about places, whether they're fictional or not, that considered their citizenry in such a benevolent way as to make sure that there was beneficial frequency that was being broadcast from church bell towers, from other kind of tuning fork mechanisms, from these spires, these globes, whatever it is. Those are the things that really make people start to wonder. You know, how much of that can we do right now? You know, electroculture is a part of that conversation when we talk about this with Matt Roski, which I'm sure Matt Roski would have enough from Cultivate Elevate, would have plenty of things to say about Tartaria himself. In fact, he got in touch with me the other day to talk about some things that we should expand on when it comes to the orphan trains and the babies in incubators on Coney Island and elsewhere. So there's a lot there, and that's that mystery zone that I like hanging out in. Because, you know, obviously there's always going to be people like, this is bullshit, I'm getting out of here. Then go. You know, it's just go where the bullshit is not. I don't know what to say. It's fun. It's fun because inside of even fiction, that's why people are like, Frank, why don't you do, read William Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse for book club? Say, we can do that. But, you know, that's a lot more encyclopedic knowledge. A lot of that is verifiable. Most of it is. It's on the books. It's there. We're more so reading a textbook than a piece of fiction, you know, a fictional narrative. And let me tell you something. We've read books in our book club that are historical fiction, where there's a lot of really great information in there that you learn along the way. I mentioned it last night when we were talking about Devil in the White City with the 1893 World Fair. But then there's other things that are just straight up fiction, or even reaching fantasy levels. That, yeah, okay, obviously we're talking about, characters on other planets and using technology that seems like it's just like it is make-believe. We have nothing like that on this planet. But is it really that the story is bullshit? What is inside the story? What are other things that are applicable to us inside the story? That's what makes it interesting. You know? Even if there is nothing physically there as far as evidence to base anything on, but people would say that the physical evidence is there. Here's one thing that I will bring up with you. Listen to this. As I was doing some research for this yesterday, I had this nice short sweet read come through my dash, and I said I'm gonna work this into the show somehow. Didn't have time for it last night, but we got time for it tonight. This is from unheard.com by Peter Franklin. Long live the Tartarian Empire, he says. I have a new favorite conspiracy theory. This is from May 5th, 2021, and it is a corker. It claims that many of our most beautiful buildings are the work of a lost civilization called the Tartarian Empire. What makes it so special is that they're not talking about what really old stuff like the pyramids, They're not talking about really old stuff like the pyramids, but much more recent examples like the early skyscrapers of New York and the pavilions constructed for international expositions during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Writing for Bloomberg, Zach Mortiz delves into the underlying motivations of the Tartarian theory. It boils down to the contrast between the brutal, faceless modernism of the 20th century and the exuberantly ornamental monuments of the preceding era. How could these two kinds of architecture possibly be work of the same civilization? Now, that's a great point. And obviously, you can just as easily say postmodernism, the Frankfurt School, everything that did to art, modern art, it's lifeless. It is brutal. That's what they called it, that post-war brutalism. It just looked like everything was meant to be a prison. Some crazy stuff. And also the other thing here, too, is that they said that it claims that many of our most beautiful buildings are the work of a lost civilization. That in itself, using the World's Fairs and all that, that's not the big thing. They're saying that the World's Fairs popped up so that everything around it could be destroyed and erased. But the problem is that most of the World's Fairs were constructed. They're constructed. They're designed to pop up like Olympic villages. I said that last night. There's a lot of just empty Olympic villages out there now. Things that took 7 to 10 years to build just so that you have a summer's worth of games, make a couple $100 million, and then it's gone. Well, it's incredible what was built for these expositions, but many of them were just constructed out of the blankness of a sheet of unwanted land. So the fact that a lot of those buildings went away may seem like a waste afterwards, but it wasn't because they were trying to erase something that was already there. And it wasn't listen, at least in 1893, this was not marble. It wasn't marble. It was staff. It was plaster. But anyway, writing for Bloomberg, Zach Mortiz delves into the underlying motivations of the Tartarian theory. It boils down to the contrast between the brutal, faceless modernism of the 20th century and exuberantly ornamental monuments of the preceding era. How could these two kinds of architecture possibly be the work of the same civilization? At its core, the theory reflects a fear of how quickly things change as they look at today's cityscapes. Tartaria believers see an eerie and alienating place, filled with abstract monoliths that emerged out of nowhere in a brief period of time. Hence the invention of a long-lost and better civilization, one that's been deliberately erased from history by the masters of the modern world. There are two things that ought to be said about this theory. The first is that it's obviously untrue. That's based, that's the author editorializing a little bit. I have a lot of problems with the theory, but still, I like listening to it. The second is the themes of a golden age and a global conspiracy could easily appeal to political extremists, especially those on the
far right.
So is this the QAnon of architecture, as the headline in Bloomberg puts out there? Well, the author does state that there's no direct relationship between the Tartarian theorists and the followers of Q. However, he also argues that the sort of buildings praised by the former are associated with the history of Western colonialism. Western nations fanned out over the globe, subjugating and destabilizing numerous non-white civilizations and building many examples of what is now considered Tartarian architecture as celebration of these victories. I think this rather misses the point, says the author Franklin. If any school of architecture is colonialist, it is modernism. This is the style and technology that has spammed buildings across the world on a scale that has literally buried non-Western traditions, many of them thousands of years old. Thank you. Good job, at least on that point. The triumph of Western modernity is a cultural catastrophe on a global scale, an act of mass civilizational erasure. Local skills, local materials, local aesthetics, local heritage, all have been bulldozed in the name of globalization. When this happens to other aspects of culture, spoken language, for instance, Western liberals protest, but in regard to architecture, they have a blind spot. Just as they can't see the aesthetic disaster of modernism in their own countries, they're also insensitive to what the modernists have perpetuated elsewhere. Conspiracy theories are ultimately an expression of collective psychological distress. And the whole world has every right to be distressed by what modernism has done to the built environment. The biggest thing that the Tartarians get wrong is that it's not just the legacy of one civilization that's been devastated, but all of them. I like that. This whole last thing, I'm going to read that last part again. Conspiracy theories are ultimately an expression of collective psychological distress, and the whole world has every right to be distressed by what modernism has done to the built environment. The biggest thing that the Tartarians get wrong is that it's not just a legacy of one civilization that's been devastated, but all of them. And again, you know, I said it was a sweet, short little read. Maybe it inspires some stuff with you guys to call in on. And there you have it. It also goes to what I said last night. Now, as far as collective psychological distress, that is definitely a motivating factor. When you look around, you see things are being imploded. When you look around, you know, you live long enough and you know that shit just happens. People get sick, they die, car crashes happen, God forbid plane crashes happen. If it's ships sink, things do actually happen. They're not all rigged for demolition here. But it starts becoming really obvious when there is a controlled demolition going on a cultural level, everything else, and it seems like all the exits have been welded shut. At that point, like I said last night, I think it becomes easier for everybody to say, okay, well, I know one thing and my gut tells me that the official stories are nonsense. Now, we all may disagree on the details of what's happening, but I think we know that the cards are stacked against us and somebody's trying to pull a fast one. So, Tartaria, Antarctica, where the hell do we go next? We'll take some of your calls on the other side, and then I'm going to introduce a new subject for the second half of the show. But now your calls, so please fire up the phones, and we will be right back. All right. 914-200-0269. You can call in with whatever. We'll do open lines for a little while. And then I'm going to throw you another bone. Throw you another bone. Here we go. First one up, 209. You're on the air. Go ahead. How you doing?
What's happening, Frank? Hey, it's Matt. I spoke to you a few weeks ago.
It's good to have you back on, Matt. How you been?
Yeah. Hey, I get a real Art Bell vibe from you.
Oh, well, that's...
Don't screen the calls. Something a lot of people don't know about Art, he would answer the phone for 20 minutes before and after the show. I spoke to him numerous times because I was working graveyard at the time. Real interesting guy, real interesting. And the contributions that he made in the radio world were unparalleled. Anyway.
I gotta say, I only ever knew his greatest hit moments until about late 2020. And it was right around the time that my daughter was born that I said, I'm going to listen to my first Art Bell rerun. I want to listen to a whole Coast to Coast episode. Never listened to it in my life. And it was just so, I vibed with it so much. And it just was everything I already felt like I was trying to achieve. So it just made it so cozy for me. And I really enjoy listening to the old ones.
There's a whole generation of us old truck drivers that worked graveyards back then, running freight down to L.A. And there would be radio silence, and then when the commercials came on, we would all be us on the CB radios. And then it's Art's back on, and it was radio silent.
That's awesome.
So every night. A cure for your I think it was the Daily Mail you pulled up that spammed you.
Yes.
I use archive.today and archive that, and it'll just show that with none of this ad spam crap running.
I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to do that because
you
it's...
just paste the link in there, and you can prep it, for the show if you're going to read an article, and then it also doesn't give these scumbags the click revenue.
Yeah, you know what, Matt? The big thing with that is, just like that, it makes me pissed off. It's one thing to have a couple of banners, a couple of native ads on your website or whatever, but when you do that, it's just so scummy, and I don't want to contribute to it. But then again, I gotta, when I find an article I want to cover, but that's something I'll have to do. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, and that's other creators have mentioned that, but on the previous Lost Worlds type stuff, I've listened to Graham Hancock for years on Art Bell, just by chance, back in the day. And, it really does make sense. And with the work that Hancock and Randall Carlson have done as far as the end of the Ice Age coming very quickly, and, Göbekli Tepe and all these sites around the world that have common geometry, I just think that there's a whole history of our planet that is unacknowledged by the powers that be, and I think that that's on purpose because of monetary status, that kind of stuff.
I always think about that. You say when monetary, I always wonder about that. Like, who gains monetarily for us missing a certain chapter of our ancient past, or for anybody to give any kind of, I've seen all of those underwater monolithic kind of structures that Graham Hancock visits out there in Japan and stuff. It just makes it's just so ridiculous to think that any of that stuff was naturally occurring. It looks so handcrafted, but on the other hand, it's just the ganging up that occurs when you suggest that, hey, this might have come from the hands of man. The ganging up that occurs is ridiculous.
Well, I think that that's a part of, these people are a managerial professional class, the archaeologists that handle this, the people that sign the grants, that give the money out. If you diverge from that paradigm, you're not going to make any money and be able to do that work. It's just like the medical profession. They're not going to do any studies on anything that actually cures anything. They're only going to do studies on things that make them money. And I think that is, if you start looking at it from top to bottom that way, look at every profession that way. Like in my industry, trucking. I had a 2000 Freightliner that got 7.5 to 8 miles per gallon going across Nevada, pulling 3 trailers. Currently, I'm in a 2024 Mack that gets 6.8 miles to the gallon. And this is one of the highest efficiency trucks. Granted, I climb a lot of hills and stuff, and I do haul doubles. But I was pulling triples and getting 7.5 consistently. going up and down the hills out in Nevada doing 65, 70 miles an hour all day. And the reason we don't get this mileage is because we have an EGR system that blows exhaust gas into the intake, recycles that exhaust gas recirculation, then it goes to a 600-degree burner that burns it and microionizes it using urea, DEF fluid. And now I'll put this out. In 10 years, you're going to hear a bunch of cancer from urea, from the microscopic diesel particles that people are inhaling. But that's just another subject. But that's another example of the paradigms that these people get control of. And even though we're burning more fossil fuels or, fuel, even though we're burning more, it's supposedly cleaner. But if you look at it at a grand scale of how many trucks are on the highway, it doesn't make sense until you think about it as these gilded leaders, these managerial class types, have an agenda. They want their agenda through. They don't care. And it's this control issue. And I think that's in every field. Okay. Every field.
I understand what you're saying, but as the more you spoke about something like the fuel efficiency innovations, or maybe the antithetical, but non-innovations that might be actually harmful and more inefficient down the line, it brings up my initial point. And I pose this to the entire audience, and thank you for calling in. Hey,
thanks.
And please call in more. I love having you got a great voice, and I like having that road warrior mindset on the show. It's a great thing.
I'm just an old truck driver who learned a lot of crap over the years.
That's what I'm talking about.
I call it windshield time. You have a lot of time to ponder, and also with the invention of the smartphone, I've used it. I just suck up information all day. Every day. I just suck up information. Nuclear energy is quite interesting.
Well, I'm sure it is, and that's what I'm saying. You are one of the primo kind of radio callers. So please do it again.
Hey, I will.
All right, yeah. Take care.
Good job, Frank.
Thank you. But like I was saying, like he was saying, okay, they got him in a new truck. He was doing better gas mileage years ago. He's doing less now, and there might be a health risk to people, truck drivers, as you go forward when you see what the real impact of this recycling technology is. I can completely see why controlling interests in one industry or another would want the 100-mile to a gallon carburetor guy to go away. What is the monetary interest? What is the interest in denying underwater megalithic structures that you would think the big guys in paleontology and archaeology and all that stuff, you think that the big guys would want to be on the forefront of a new major revelation? What is it? What is it about those that they're so contested? That's what I want to know, because I don't know how that equates into money being capped. You would think that more grants would come than ever before if you found that there is evidence of a civilization that is off the coast of South Korea or something like that underwater. I don't know. So that's for you guys and gals too. Let's take another call. Aaron, what's going on? Truth Quest.
Hey, Frank. Good to hear you. Thank you for taking my call. Yeah, Art Bell was just fun to listen to, and timeless. You can listen to it anytime you want, any one of his shows. But did you ever hear the one where Andy was on there and gave him a big bombshell at the end?
Yeah, that he saw Art or something like that. He met Art.
He was a tech.
Everybody, what Aaron is talking about is Andy Bashago, who's on the show to talk about the jump rooms to Mars and those early chrononaut programs in the United States military. He was on Coast to Coast once and told Art Bell that he actually met him in the future, in the past. I forget what it was, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
It was in the past. So he and some other kids went into this facility, to do the Tesla vortal teleportation. and or no, they were going to use the chronovisor. That's what it was. And the tech who was working on it was Art Bell, and he was frustrated because he couldn't get the signal to stabilize, kind of like an old TV, getting the signal in, kind of like that. And he couldn't get it to work properly. It was taking a while, and he swore. And the woman who was bringing the kids in, all these kids in this DARPA program, Project Pegasus, to go and use a chronovisor to go somewhere else or somewhere else in time, she went over and scolded him. You know you're not supposed to swear in front of these kids. And Andy said she was a really good-looking gal. And so Art Bell was flirting with her, and they ended up dating. And when Andy told Art about this, he kind of freaked out, went to commercial, and came back and said, no, I was not working on that.
Wait a second. Okay, so because here's the thing, I was going to interject here and say, when Andy was on that episode, he told Art this thing about himself, Art seemed a little, I don't know, nonplussed. I don't know,
yeah.
like a little confused, that not really, almost like it fell flat. You're saying that they went to commercial, and he expressed that this was something he was working on, that was real.
No, he never on air admitted he was working on
I mean, off air.
He claimed he was working on something else, but Andy specifically remembers it was the chronovisor, and the hologram that was propagated into the lab was not stable.
Well,
it was like fuzzy, and
okay.
he remembered he had a pen protector in his pocket.
You know what you can do for me, Aaron? That episode has definitely been uploaded once or twice somewhere on the internet. If you can find the timestamp, I would love to hear just that. I would love to re-air just that part where Andy Bashago, who's a friend of this show now, he's been on at least 2 or 3 times, tells Art Bell that thing about himself. And I want to listen to the reception, because when I heard it, I felt like, as a listener, it fell flat. But you're saying that there were some interesting things that happened off air, and I'd like to analyze that a little bit, if you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it doesn't have to be tonight. Doesn't have to be tonight.
I think he has all that stuff on his Facebook pages. He's got a couple of Facebook pages.
Well, so. I'll have to check it out then. But thank you for the call, Aaron. I'm going to go check that out now.
One more thing.
Yeah.
In 1981,
uh-huh.
I think it was 1981, General Motors was suggesting a new car brand, Saturn, and their prototype car got 100 miles to the gallon, and you didn't have to haggle with the price, and it was all plastic, so it wasn't going to rust. And GM said, okay, let's do it, but let's not do the 100 miles per gallon thing. So they had it in 81.
Well, then there you have it. Hey, between all of the car, all the car fueling, and thanks again, Aaron. That's Aaron Moriarty of Truth Quest. All the car fueling stuff, the no hunger bread, things that can really help people. I mean, obviously all the stories about Laetril, apricot seeds, things like that. I'm trying to get G. Edward Griffin back on the show to do a whole night about his published work on cancer treatment. That would be really great to complete the trilogy of talks that we've had with G. Edward Griffin. All right, let's see here. 281, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. It's Hunting Abramovich.
Hey, what's going on?
So you wanted to know what the point of hiding the history is all about. What's the advantage of all of that for those that know the history and those who are being hidden the history?
Well, before you start, I would like to say more specifically about things like denying what seem to be obvious megalithic structures that are hidden underwater, denying that they are human-made. Well, like, why would something like that? I understand if it's technological, that could completely shake up the energy industry, oil, gas, things like that. I understand how things could have big-time impacts on current industry right now. But when it comes to finding a structure or something that hints at an older civilization, older than we thought, or maybe something that puts a new spin on what the official story was, I want to know what your thoughts on that in particular are.
Those things are breadcrumbs. You find those things, you trace those things, and then you find the history that they're trying to hide.
Okay.
The cataclysm that ends civilizations all through history is cyclical. It happens on a regular basis. If we don't know about it, then the pound of flesh that the oversoul or God or Satan or the simulation that we live in, it gets their pound of flesh. But it gets the pound of flesh from them, not us. We know about the history. We're going underground. So when it comes, we're safe. We come back up and we flourish again. It's us and them. It's always like that. And they're going to go underground, and this cyclical cataclysm is going to happen again. And if they let those breadcrumbs out, then the knowledge will be found, and then everybody will go underground, and then the pound of flesh comes out of those that hold the power. That's my opinion.
Okay. Well, listen, that holds water. That the whole breadcrumbs approach right there to try to keep us in proverbial orbit right now. Don't go too far outside. This is a nice, comfy zone where everything could be neatly explained and we're just kept in check. I guess anything could lead to an open door that kind of busts apart the current reality. And
I love your show, Frank.
Well,
I love your show. You got a great family. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you call in again soon. Breadcrumbs. I'll take it. But maybe you guys and gals have more you want to add to that. Let's take a call. 229, you're on the air. Who's this?
This is Mandy.
Hey, maybe. How? Maisie or Mavie, would you say?
Mandy.
Okay. I still don't understand, but...
It's Mandy, M-A-N-D-Y.
Oh, Mandy. Mandy.
Yes, Andy, but with an M.
Got you. It was your lovely accent. I needed a couple of tries at it. But Mandy, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I was wanting to talk to Frank about Tartaria.
Okay.
And there's a really cool YouTube channel that she covers that and a lot of cryptids and stuff like that he might want to check out and, see into.
Well, you're talking to Frank right now. I was going to play a little trick on you, but I'm not going to do that. So what's this channel you're talking about?
It's called No Place Like Home.
Okay.
And she covers Tartaria and the mud floods, and she comes at it with a Christian point of view.
Okay.
And
so then she talks about the millennial reign and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, like preterism is what that's called. And it's just really interesting. Like, I don't buy into it. I'm not into it fully, but it's just really interesting.
Okay. So I'll put this aside because I like hearing about that. I understand what the main thrust of the overall theory is there, but I like getting into that aspect too, and I'm not totally sold on it as well, but I like collecting info. So thank you for that, Mandy. Is there anything else you want to share?
It's just I'm a long-time listener, and I will be honest, you do not sound the same on the phone.
What do I sound like?
You do.
What do I sound like on the phone? Nasally?
Your voice is a little more flat.
Oh,
it's flat.
That's not.
I hate to say that because I'm a bass player. I play music, and the flatness is terrible.
Oh, now you just called my voice terrible and flat.
Just on the phone, but on the stream, you're amazing. It is awesome and beautiful.
Well, thank you, Mandy. Well, listen, you sound a little muffled, but you still sound just lovely.
Yeah, because my phone sucks.
No, it's all right. At least it's your phone. At least it's your phone. It's not your voice. Anyway.
It falls out of a semi all the time.
Okay.
It's constantly hitting the ground. So, yeah.
I wish, those old phones, man, the flip phones, I'm waiting for the day that I can comfortably just do the flip phone thing again. That was amazing. And even better before that was the beepers, because I had a couple of beepers who that might as well have been bulletproof VCRs. They did not.
Yes.
Could have done anything to them.
I loved my beeper was, that thing was bulletproof, and then I had the Nokia. I can't even remember what number it was, but the one that's indestructible. I had one of those for years, and I finally just threw it in the river because I was tired of it ringing all the time. It's just like, no, I'm done with people. I'm done. Just get away from me.
I'm done too, but not with you. I'm not done with you, Mandy. Thank you so much for calling in, and do it again soon.
I hope so. I'm an OTR trucker, and this is the first live stream I've caught in like 2 years.
Wow.
So,
now, when do you usually listen? Do you listen to the show usually when you're like on demand? You usually listen live? Are you listening to it on the road? What do you do?
Well, I usually do Spotify, and so because I'm a day late usually, but right now I'm sitting here streaming you live.
Okay. Well,
out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, then you won't have to listen to it tomorrow with your voice popping up, unless you want to listen to yourself.
Which that's kind of sad because that's 2 hours.
I know.
Because you feel such a good, like sometimes I won't listen for a few days just so I'll have like 6 hours that I can listen to you while I'm driving. Your show is so amazing. I love it.
Thank you. How far are you usually driving? Like, what's your territory?
I'm southeast because I live in Georgia. I live in South Georgia, and I'm southeast, so I stay kind of in my region. I did do 48 for a while, and I've been all over the country and in all the states, and it's it can be rough. The weather can be rough.
I can imagine. The rough, other people, everything, traffic, bridges. You don't know which ones are going to have a gigantic tanker run into them anymore. Hey, how many states?
I try not to think about that because I love bridges, and I try not to think about that.
I'm sorry to put it in your head. Hey, how many states have you counted? How many states you've driven through at least?
All 48, except for New York and New Jersey. I refused. I said, I'm not going there.
You've never been to New York or New Jersey?
Nope.
Then how the hell did you get to New England?
They want to send me to like New York City, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Nope.
Okay, but you've driven through them though to get to New England.
Yes.
Okay.
But I haven't stopped.
Okay, that's what I meant. Okay, so visiting each state, that is at least one rest stop?
No, not necessarily, because I can go to the shipper or receiver and stop and then just go back out.
Okay. But you've even driven to Alaska?
No, just continental. The continental 48.
Okay, no Alaska, no Hawaii, and you try to stay away from Jersey and New York. You know what? I'll give you a lot of props for that. And it looks like I want to be able to get that mileage one day, and hopefully we all can make meet up somewhere along the way and have a big party. But thank you for calling in, Mandy.
That would be amazing. Love you, Frank.
All right, take care. See you later. Damn it, I cut her off. All right. It's 8 o'clock. We're going on a really quick intermission. Don't leave. Keep watching. It's a minute and a half. It's a water break. It's a pee break. Whatever the hell, come right back because I will have more open lines. But I have other things here. I have something from Monday night I think you're really going to like to consider. But the calls have been great tonight. This is pure goodness, open line stuff. So everybody go and grab a refreshment or a glass of ice water, and we will be right back. Okay? See you soon.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season.
Welcome to intermission. Intermission.
You are now entering, quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Watch Quite Frankly and stuff.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
All my fellow Franciscans.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. Quite frankly. We'll be in the gulag with you, Frank.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Yo, what's good, Frank?
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly podcast.
I want to get a Coke. Can I get a Coke?
So everybody watch, Quite Frankly, with Frank.
Quite frankly.
How dare you?
All right. Welcome to the second half. A short reprieve. I wish the intermission was actually about a minute longer. I should find a fun way to make that a minute longer, because it is, I would actually like, it's not a long enough trip for me to go to the bathroom. Maybe you guys and gals can go to the bathroom. Then probably many of you are actually listening to this on the toilet as it is. Somebody just laughed. Oh my God, was he watching me? You guys can take this, your phone, whatever the hell, a tablet, and go right to the John. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you, Stowstube. Sent a nice little tip at quitefranklysuperchat.com. I invite you all to go and contribute that way. Quitefranklysuperchat.com. There is the gold pills on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole, that we're going to do right now. And then there's the Rumble rants. Send them all in. Let's do them. Jay Britt says, what a way to open a show with D's nuts. Thanks, Frank. Thank you. The Eunuch Maker has been caught. Now, the Scranton Strangler. All right, let's see here. Over on Rumble, we've got a rant. It's from Poso for Hope. Says those structures had better technology in order to create them. We had free energy. That's what the star forts were all about. You know, the star forts, that is the only thing that we did not talk about last night. We spoke about the mud floods. I'd like to specifically get into star forts, but then again, there's plenty of people on the internet that can talk about this with great detail. So we're not done with the subject. I find it rather fun. So there you have it. Okay. Over on pilled.net, quitefrankly.tv, the official home of Quite Frankly. Sea Blanche sends a can. Boys Blanc, thank you. Cave Toad says, or go back to Brave, Frank. Now that you know it wasn't a problem, add you The coughing has actually been really good. I think there's something tickling in there. Something I ate before. I don't know what the hell it is. I've been drinking enough. But you guys must have been like, hey, he has been coughing a lot lately. Yeah, I know, because the workouts have been really good. Actually, it might be pollen. Cave Toad says, go back to Brave. Well, maybe. Maybe. I had the U-block. I have a pretty good ad blocker and a couple other things over here too, but there was just way too much redundancy, and that's what was making my computer want to blow up. Nuts. Sean Joe, thank you. Captain Flint, thank you. Cave Toad again says, for all the Franklies, I highly recommend digging around falsehistory.net. It's fun. Cave Toad again says, by the way, and sends an EMP. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That's why I love Foxhole and Pilled. By the way, work on getting Randall Carlson on. He's got a new channel on Rumble now. It's like your show, Thought-Provoking. That would be someone I'd like to have on, yeah. I'd have to watch all of his older stuff and come up with a line of questioning, though. He's not the type of guy. I know of him, and I've seen him before, but it's a subject It's a subject, and it is a guess that it's. I wouldn't be able to just. My line of questioning would be probably shallow without a little bit of digging. I'd want to know more about the theories and the everything, so I can find better questions to ask. So that'd be great to have him on one day with a Jimmy Corsetti in studio. Netfolks, thank you, Netfolks1. Thank you, Sean Joe again. Cave Toad says, does Frank have a trucker piss bottle? No, I don't. Let's see. Atway says, from Mandy, the muffled trucker. Oh, thank you so much, Mandy. Not my name says, here's for the tip jar. And Atway again and Paulie9363. Wonderful, wonderful blessings over there. Let's take another call from 720. How are you? You're on the air.
Yeah, man. This is Marcus from Denver. I called you like a couple years ago.
Okay.
Talking about the restitution thing. And I re-listened to that, and I'm really sorry that I didn't give you the full story, man. It was...
What? The story about what? Restitution?
Yeah, the restitution thing. Yeah, I showed it to a couple of my friends like 3 years ago.
Okay,
and,
well, I don't know what you...
I feel a little embarrassed right now.
Well, don't be embarrassed because we don't remember. But if you want to, it sounds like something that needs some retelling. So if maybe you, I don't know what to ask, to be honest. But don't be embarrassed. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, man. I'm not going to take up anybody else's time.
If you can,
mm-hmm.
Email me, quite frankly, podcast@gmail.com, and just try to jog my memory and tell me exactly what you called in the first time, and then if what you wanted to just add as context this time around, and maybe it turns into a topic of the show or something. All right, just give me an email. All right.
Yeah, and for anybody that calls up, this is the live hotline. Like when you talk to when you talk to Frank, you're talking to Frank right now.
You're right. So
just keep that in mind.
Thank you for the call, man.
I love the show, man. I'll talk to you later.
I'm glad, and thank you for calling in. Yeah, it is me. I'm my own call screener. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's go. 574, Sarah, is this you?
Yes.
How are you?
Let me turn off the stream.
Okay.
I know the rules. Hold on.
It's all right.
And I'm taking you off speakerphone.
Yes.
All right.
All right, hello.
So, hey, so I go by Beastburn on the book club forum.
Oh, yes.
I was just calling in. I never, ever get to listen to you live. Ever.
What's the special occasion? What's the special occasion tonight?
I just happen to not be. I'm a server in the evenings so that I can take care of my daughter during the day. And tonight is dinner night with the family. And so I don't listen to you live then either because it's dinner night with the family. But I just was like, let me try it.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that not only is it your first time listening, and hope you're having a good time, but you got through. So that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took a lot of work.
Good job. So then what's on your mind then?
I don't, unfortunately, I feel like a turd. I don't have any Art Bell contributions. I know who he is. I think that's awesome that everyone that's a fan of his. I just have never listened to him before. Well,
don't worry about that. It wasn't really the first caller blessed me with a very nice compliment about Art Bell, and I'm not an OG listener. I've just listened to a lot of stuff in the last couple of years. But you don't have to have anything to say. It's good just to have you on tonight, Sarah. And if that is all, please send my best to the whole family.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm super interested. I've never heard of the Tartaria stuff until you kept pumping it up, and then he had to cancel. And then when I listened to it, because I listened to it today.
Yeah.
And because I'm listening to you live tonight, that's going to ruin my morning tomorrow morning.
I know.
I won't have anything to listen to.
I know. I know how that goes. I used to be that way with a few shows, and now I just don't have time to listen to anything anymore.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, I think all that stuff is really fascinating. I don't really have any commentary on it. We like to watch the Y-Files. I just watched the Anunnaki stuff recently. So I'm too green to share any thoughts. I just find all of it very fascinating and very curious.
You know, it's if at the very least, it's a nice place to fill in the void of what network television sitcoms used to be. I'd rather watching Third Rock from the Sun didn't make me any smarter. It wasn't
right.
It wasn't true. But at the same time, at least this makes me think. At least this makes me go digging around into what was going on. The military conquests of the Far East. That's all real. I mean, whether or not what happened afterwards was all real that's up for debate. But if you follow Tartaria theories, you're going to learn a lot about the World Fair expositions. You're going to learn a lot about a lot. It's why not?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It gives me something to research.
Well, it's good to hear from you.
All right. Well, have a good night, Frank.
Okay, you too. Take care.
All right, bye.
There you go. So it's family night over there at the Sarah residence. Since it has come up, I might as well just put it out there. It is Thursday. There's a lot of Art Bell talk on the show tonight, and it's Thursday, which means that the after hours, starting at 9 o'clock in 50 minutes from now, the after hours on quitefrankly.tv are being taken over once again by the All Things Art Bell Rumble channel. And my good buddy, Bell Fan, is taking over the after hours programming. As soon as we're done here on quitefrankly.tv, we have a 6-hour marathon, a 6.5-hour marathon tonight, Mel's Hole. Remember yesterday we were talking about the deepest sinkhole ever? The oceanic sinkhole that they found off the coast of Mexico. It's already 1,300 feet deep, and they still have not found the bottom. Well, just so happens that All Things Art Bell on Rumble, who handles our after-hours programming on Thursday night, he's going live, and he has put together a marathon of Mel's Hole. And if you don't know the Mel's Hole saga, this is a guy, I believe, in the Pacific Northwest or whatever. He had a hole, almost like a well, on his property that he believed went on forever. He claimed went down forever. And this became a very, very big thing. And it was a recurring theme. And we've got coast-to-coast episodes from February 97. Let's see here. Actually, there's a couple of episodes from February of 97. Then the year 2000, 2002. There's a lot. Because this made world headlines. The Mel's Hole story. So, there you go. Do you want to talk about deep holes late into the night? You want to talk about deep gorges late into the night? Well, then stay on quitefrankly.tv after this ends. And you can just have a good time. Have a good time in the chat room there. I'm usually in and out of there too. That's that. Let's see here. Lauren just texted me. She said, "I assure you all his voice is how it sounds on air, not through the phone." She said that even messed me up that one time that I called into the show too. Can you imagine being married to me? Can you imagine that? Forget about the voice. Can you just imagine being married to me? And she called up and she didn't even recognize my voice. But she wants to assure you that it's not the phone voice. I don't have the phone voice, I promise you. Okay. All right, so that's what's going on after hours, and yeah. Oh, shit. No, what did I just do? Oh, God, let's take another call while I find something here. 304, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey there, this is Enos Hogden from West Virginia.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you tonight?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Welcome to the show.
Well, I'll take the easy question first. Yes, my name is really Enos Hogden on account of some idiot left a G off of Angus on the old birth certificate there. And I have been an asshole my entire life.
Wait, your first name is ANUS?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. And the son gave me that awful name, and nobody noticed it till I started school.
And so if this is really, if that is really, you got a great sense of humor, and why the hell not? Who the hell cares? Especially when you can start conversations that easily. But if it was really because of a typo or some kind of a clerical error, why didn't you ever just go and put the G back in there? Why did you accept anus?
Because none of my people could read or write.
No.
We're a bunch of hillbillies up here.
Well, you know what? Like I said, if it was going to be anybody, it had to be you, because you got a great sense of humor about it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to prove something to you, though. The hillbillies are geniuses.
Okay.
I'm going to do a little quick math here. Now, up here in Hayseed County, we got 30,000 people, which I guess amounts to a neighborhood there in New York. But you take 5% of 30,000 people, and they're all descended from Northern Europeans. They're all English and Irish, Germans, Dutch up here. 5% of 30,000 people is what? It's 1,500 certifiable geniuses right here, which is 3 times the brain power that's available to all of Congress. The country would be better off run by a bunch of hillbillies than it is by the current crowd down there in Washington, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And you're right about the neighborhood over here in New York. My town, my village, it is legally a village, has, I think, officially about 33,000 people in it. But when you add all the people who should not be in the country, it's more like 70,000 people in 2 square miles.
Oh my Lord!
I know.
I can't imagine. I know. Anyway, I'm gonna prove to you what a genius I am here.
Go ahead.
Because I am going to introduce you to the world's next currency.
Okay.
And first of all, I'm going to ask your audience if you know what a stacker is, or if you are a stacker, go ahead and raise your hand up there on the feed. Say, I'm a stacker, or I know what a stacker is. I know what a stacker does. Let's see how many we get here. I'm going to give them about 4 or 5 seconds. Got any stackers out there? You all know what a stacker is?
Stacking silver?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
And silver is the word.
Yes.
Silver is the word there. Now, here's your next world currency. You say you take exactly 1 gram of 0.999 silver, which is a amount of silver about the size of a peppercorn, really. And you segregate that out, you keep it pure at 999, and you insert that into the hole in a washer. And then you put it under a press. Now you have a coin that maintains its integrity as 999 silver. But it's not violated like what they call the junk silver, which is the 1964, pre-1964 nickels, or not nickels, dimes and quarters and $half.
Okay.
So you got 999 silver now in circulation. Let's see if we got some mathematicians out there. At the current spot price, what is that 1 gram coin of silver worth? Let's see if somebody can come up with that.
Okay, listen, this is very, very entertaining, and you really had me hooked with the anus as a first name, but you got to get around to the point right now, because we have another whole thing to do.
All right, we're going to get to the point right now, whether you understand the math or not. Once you have a gram of silver embedded in a coin, current value today is about 87 cents. That becomes your parallel currency.
Okay.
To run a parallel economy, right? Because it maintains its value against the paper dollar, which we all know is going to depreciate through hyperinflation.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts as an alternative currency. When silver reaches $31 a gram, it becomes the preferred currency because it trades on a par with silver.
Okay.
With the silver. And then eventually, when hyperinflation kicks in,
then we're all
it becomes the preferred currency. In fact, then a hyperinflation.
Anus, I got to tell you really had the audience, and then you lost them.
I don't care about. I don't care about having the audience. I care about telling the truth.
Oh, I know.
What's coming.
I know. And listen, I think they know. I know, but you had them, and I think you lost them. But
well, next time I'll tell you about my wrestling match with a Sasquatch.
There you go.
Maybe I'll keep them more entertained.
Well, hey, listen, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with telling people, hey, get out there and make sure you stack a little silver. Blah 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 blah. But you gotta consider. You just gotta consider the mass communications part of this whole thing here. And I wanted to try to get you to that end, the end zone a little bit quicker. But still, thank you so much for the call, Anus, and call in again soon.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you, sir.
All right, there you go. I'm trying. He's a great caller, and I really do want him to call him again. But that was a little bit too much. A little too much. He's trying to tell people how to mint their own coins, and maybe that is really good to know. But you can also get Mercury dimes for like, I don't know, $150 a roll, and you can just use those. It's got the same melt value. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. So we're going to take a little bit of a break with the calls just for a second. I see we have about half a dozen other people trying to get in. King's trying to call, a few other people. We'll see what we can do toward the end. But I got to get this out because this will be the last chance I'll have to do it for the rest of the week. I got an email after the Monday night show. After the Monday night show that we were doing with Lubomir and Rob about the Kingdom and the Kingdom video and all the stuff that was popping up there. And here's what I got. This is from a viewer in the audience named Robin. Said, Frank, I'm very happy you, Rob, and Lubomir spent a good amount of time on the purging and purification aspect of the Kingdom movie, especially the nagging black eel parasite things that were expelled when the main character began doing his breath work. Reminded me of that Jerry Marzinski interview that you aired on Sunday night. Now, this was a great thing, a great segue for me, because that was a backup topic that I had to bring up on Monday night if we had the time and if it just naturally led there. And what this Jerry Marzinski interview was with, he was with a psychotherapist who was talking about all of the patients he has who have schizophrenia. And much of that interview was about how he believes, the psychotherapist believes, that mental illness is, in many cases, spiritual possession or some sort of parasite. Which I thought was interesting because, of course, the imagery of the parasitic eel things kind of just chopping away, speaking in your ear and trying to discourage you from doing one thing or another, or getting off course and not choosing a more powerful, self-empowering, liberating path in life. I thought that was very interesting. And Sunday night we were watching this interview, and I thought it was really, really fascinating where how this guy was talking about when it comes to conditions like schizophrenia, there was a spiritually parasitic infiltration in far more cases than people would believe. How voices in people's heads react to prayers or scripture, as one might expect a demon to react during an exorcism. And of course, that reminded me of Malachi Martin and all of the interviews he gave about mental illness and things like that, and how, whereas many claims of demonic possession is actually mental illness, the opposite is also true too, where there's a lot of mental illness that is there's actually demonic possession through one means or another. And I had this really great clip up. This was from April of this year. Somebody broke it all down. The entities behind schizophrenia. It's a little bit of green text from 4chan. Okay? So this is the breakdown of what's in this. The voices schizophrenics hear are real, is what they claim in this. A psychotherapist of 40-plus years works with schizo patients in hospitals and prisons. He starts asking them about the voices that they're hearing. Patients tell him that what they say and how they act. He starts noticing patterns among hundreds of schizophrenics, such as the voices getting angry when the patient goes to church. The thoughts are always negative. The voices don't like it when patients take meds because it quiets them down, and every single patient feeling like they're drained of energy when they start hearing the voices. The psychotherapist starts conducting experiments. He gets patients to say Psalm 23, I know many of you know that one. All of the patients say the voices do not like it and it hurts them. A patient walks into the therapist's office one day, and then the walls, the ceiling in his office start making a static crackling sound that eventually moves down to his trash can. The patient is just dead-eyed staring at the therapist while this happens. A couple of months later, he has another appointment with this patient, and he asks him about the previous appointment. The therapist asked the patient if he heard the static, and the patient said it was just the voices trying to scare him, and they told the patient to kill the therapist. Every single time he tells patients that the voices are energy parasites, the patient says the voices go crazy with anger. The therapist did another experiment where after doing this and knowing the voices would go crazy upon him saying that they're energy parasites, he would vividly imagine the voices having duct tape wrapped around their mouths and the beings would be locked into boxes. He would not tell the patients he was doing this, and when he'd asked about the voices, the patients said the voices now sounded muffled. It's like it's over it's a 2-hour plus interview. So I was happy to find the green text that broke it down so well. He says not only are they real, but human thought, this is the big one, human thought affects them and hurts them. So there again is a little bit more about the battle of consciousness in talking about what kingdom is really all about. Thought, the breath work, the purging, what we can do, what the real way out of this paper bag really is and what people have to do on a self-improvement kind of a timeline there. But then I start thinking more about parasites, and I start thinking more about the other things that are very parasitic about the whole world. And the one thing that keeps coming up now is, people talk about the 5G, but the 6G. 6G has been really making people's ears perk up, hair stand up, all of that stuff. Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this one. What Do I Know on Twitter put these things together, but you may have seen some of the bigger articles pop up recently. It's been proposed by scientists that we, being light beings, could be used as an antenna to power 6G, using us as an energy source, literally harvesting our life force, calling it Li-Fi. It's claimed to be using light-emitting diodes, LEDs for this data transmission. Here you go. Researchers at University of Massachusetts Amherst believe that using humans as part of the antenna system offer the most efficient way to harvest waste energy. In the process, humans could wear coiled copper or whatever the hell else. This is what was coming out of Popular Mechanics in January of last year. Scientists want to use people as antennas to power 6G. The future of 6G telecommunications could come from visible light communication. Let's see. The researchers at Massachusetts Amherst believe using humans as part of an antenna system offers the most efficient way to harvest waste energy. In the process, humans could wear coiled copper. We don't know exactly how 6G is going to work, but researchers are saying that humans could actually be a part of the network that powers the whole damn thing. It seemed that. Now, another person, I got this comment aside because this is what I was already thinking about how to link it with all this, said that just opened up some doors in my head. It would make sense. I think parasites also play a part in this and are not talked about enough. I think they may be a bridge to the metaphysical realm. Demonic possession, politicians, royalty possessed by Nephilim, its spirits, etc., etc. We talk about what could those little portals be. Could they be the microchips? Could they be the cell phones? Could they be a Ouija board? Could they also be parasites? Biological and, of course, nanotechnology. When Ilana Freeland was on, she was talking about how the nanotech that is working through us, whether it be through certain drugs that have come out recently, or whether it be just through older forms of nanotech, whether it be the smart dust or anything else, that this is something that is going to affect the jabbed and the unjabbed alike. Then, of course, today or yesterday, Greg Reese puts out a video about how these nanotech, self-replicating nanotech has been found inside of both people who have taken certain drugs or not. And I just think it all really, really ties together in a big, big way. Big way. And this, my friends, is where I can see some of the bigger simulation theory, the points that the simulation theory people may have. You know, some being those who, you know, they see us heading down a path where AI, virtual reality, mechanized reproduction, nanoparticles, all that stuff going on, and harvesting human bodies for power. I mean, that's the literal foundation for the movie The Matrix. We all know that. But when you think about this, it really puts a new spin on what parasites, physical parasites, whether they be biological or synthetic, really have to do with linking us to the next phase of whatever they're trying to roll out. And I just wanted to throw that out there because obviously that has to be purged. How the hell do you get a nanobot out of you, though? I already sent that over to Alana Freeland. I'm like, all right, how do you get these things out of us? What are we doing here? Anyway, you can give me a call on that as well. We're going to take a really, really quick break. And when we come back, we're taking calls on that. And I think we're going to be wrapping up soon. Yeah, very, very soon. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
Filling every part of our praise. Your presence in this place, your glory on our face. We're looking to the sky. Descending like a cloud, you're descending with us now. Lord, unveil our eyes. You're the reason we're here. You're the reason we're singing. So open up the heavens, we want to see you. Open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our praise. So open up the heavens, we want to see you.
No, this whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
Conspiracy.
Who's that nifty new dreamboat that has the dollies flipping their lid?
It's Frankie!
That's right. Join your Made in the Shade host of Quite Frankly. Quite Frankly streams live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 Eastern, and everywhere you find your favorite podcast. Goose it on over. For everything else, it's quitefrankly.tv.
Frankie! Woo, woo, woo!
914-200-0269. We've got 28 minutes left. Let's take a call. 313. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Frank. It's Mike. Yeah, you handled that Christmas tree rather well, keeping it off the drums.
Thank you. I do my best.
Hey, I like listening to Art Bell on HF for the audio drift that the atmosphere causes on HF radio.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, that's it? Oh, that's it?
I'll slap your butt.
Oh, there you go. There, if you have nothing else to say, you could just throw that in. Well, you know, when I listen, whenever, let's say I'm laying in bed and I know I got like 10 more minutes left in my brain before I just start completely burning out, I'll go on TalkStream Live, or TalkStream Radio application, the paranormal app, and usually at the top of the list of live channels is this U7 Radio just plays nothing but old coast to coast nonstop. So that's always something to fill in the time, listen to it in the shower or whatever. It just it's nice because you know what it is. It's everything is a time capsule object at that point. I don't even care what the hell they're talking about, just because I know that it happened 30, 40 years ago, and it's just really cozy to have that kind of future perspective of things.
It is true. I know there's some followers of you that watch Dark Journalists, and he gets into some of that underwater cities off the north of Cuba that is patrolled, and Cubans only go through there.
Well, I know of Dark Journalists, but I have not watched much of his stuff. I've come across him a lot, and that's one of those things. Love to meet the guy one day. Maybe he'll be a guest. Who knows? But thanks for the call.
Okay, there you, Frank. Have a good show.
There you go. See, I turned a call into 2 minutes. He didn't know what to say. He would have been off in 45 seconds. See, just let me drive. Everything will be all right. 909. Hello, who's this?
Oh, hey, this is Frank?
Yeah, is this Jose?
Yes, it is. Hey, baby, I'm on.
Welcome.
Yeah. Oh, this is so awesome. Hey, long-time listener.
Well,
I watch the show.
I'm sorry after all these years you've listened to me. You get to get on the show finally and listen to my flat voice.
No, not even, man. Hey, this is glorious. Hey, I got to give a shout out. This Memorial Day coming up, I finally bought a grill, and we're gonna cook it up American style.
Nice.
Hot dogs.
Nice.
And hamburgers.
Gas? Yep. Is it going to be propane, or are you going charcoal?
You know what happened? I went to Walmart, and I saw a 3-burner propane, and I picked it up. But I picked it up a week later, and it was different. It was charcoal for the same price, so I didn't even notice. The next day I took it back. They still had the propane for the same price. So
good.
I ended up getting the propane.
It's all good. One way, you know what? It's just I like charcoal. It's been a long time since I've used it myself, but the cleanup is so much easier with propane. So just that's that.
That and the temperature control as well. So
yeah, absolutely
big consideration. So I want to just share that American pastime that and we could still do that here,
Yeah, and we got to do more of those summer holiday call-in shows. Those will happen. Like last year, we did a really great episode on memories from the county fair. I think that's what it was. Memories from the county fair, and people called in with all their summer carnival memories and things like that. And it was a great night.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
That sounds really cool. Yeah,
well,
sharing those nice memories there. Hey, I also got to say, I'm a fan of your cousin or your brother. I think it's your cousin. I'm not sure. I forgot.
Anthony?
Yeah.
That's my brother.
Cool with the music stuff. Oh, your brother. Okay, yes, that's right.
But my cousin, one of my cousins, Ashley, my cousin Ashley Supa is the bassist for Plush, which is a pretty successful touring all female rock act. They were just on tour with Disturbed not too long ago.
Oh, damn!
So there's
that's badass.
Yeah, that's our cousin. We probably have other cool cousins. I don't know. Well, that's that. Well, thanks for the call, man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Frank, and take it easy. God bless you.
You too.
And God bless Aurora and your wife and everyone else.
All the best to you and yours, and I hope that you cook up a storm on Memorial Day and just enjoy the time and all of your reflection and all that.
That's right, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Take care. There you go. I was on Tuesday when Lauren and I left the church. We were meeting with a priest, our last meeting before the wedding. Really enjoyed these meetings. I thought that I knew that they were necessary and all that, and I knew that we'd like it. I just didn't know that we would enjoy it this much. And as we walked out of this last pre-marriage matrimony meeting, Lauren and I, you know, kind of just walking out of the building, linked arms, and as soon as the door opened, we just get this nice rush of warm breeze. Not like, you know, in about a month and a half from now, it's going to be like somebody has the hair dryer in your face and it is just hot and sweaty. This was just a warm, sweet breeze, and it was carrying the scent of what smelled like funnel cake. You know, with the confectioner's sugar on top of it. It just smelled like a carnival. It got me in the mood, and there's nothing like that. Warm, sweet, late spring breeze, funnel cake in the air, and also blossoming trees. That stuff sticks with you, and it's just some of the best memories of being alive. If you don't soak that stuff in, then did you ever really live? Did you ever really live? I don't think so. If you didn't soak that in whenever you could, then I don't think you really lived that well. You gotta have that in the mix, or else it's just too one-dimensional. All right, let's take another thing on the Matrix thing and the Parasite thing. I just want to put that on the record this week. If you don't have anything to say about it, that's fine. But I just wanted it to be there because after it was a really great email. It made me think about something I wanted to say on Monday night. And then, you know, come next week, it's going to be completely irrelevant and disjointed. So just throwing that out there. Let's take a call, shall we? 440, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Frank. This is Cobalt Cat from Ohio.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you been?
Doing good.
Good.
I'm in terms of the parasites. Since January, I've been seeing this holistic health coach, if you will, and he did a full body scan and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually got me on an anti-parasitic, you know, Fenben and Tutka and some iodine and
any ivermectin?
You know what? I tried ivermectin. My mom, back in September, she gave it to me, and it made me very, very sick. But then my mom was like, well, just keep on it. And because I was experiencing a lot of ailments and all this, and she was like, well, you should, you know, she gave me some ivermectin, and then it made me sick. And then Mom said, that did not make you sick. So I prayed to God. I said, all right, God, if that was truly the ivermectin that made me that sick, show me your sign, God. So I quit taking it, and then a month later, in December, I started feeling that very same weak, lethargic, weak in the knees. I'd, you know, go to get up, like I'd drink some water, and I'd be so afraid that I would just pass out. And then my mom was really telling me, you know, about this health coach that she's been seeing. And I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I went on the 1st of January, and has me on all these, some of the stuff you guys have talked about, like he's talked about, like the dragon's blood and all that,
Mm-hmm.
which I really want to get into that as well. And I'm telling you, I have not had a weak symptom since the beginning of this year. And even like my energy's back. I mean, I'm taking like peptides, and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I have not had to take a single painkiller since February. And I'm telling you, like the stuff, you know, at first I really didn't believe it, but I said, you know what, I'm going to try it myself. If it doesn't work, then so be it. And I'm telling you, with just all the stuff he's got me on and all the regimens, it's worked.
So you are of the belief that there is something to this parasite thing, that perhaps these little waves of weakness and just malaise is because there was something that needed to be cleaned out?
That's really what I believe, because I went to my regular doctor, and she had me blood, you know, for diabetes. I'm definitely not diabetic, and I even had this nurse come. You know, she came to my house and she even checked my A1C. She said, "No, once again, you're not diabetic or anything." And it just really kind of got frustrating. Like, then why am I like this? You know, and also there were other things too. I was a very strict vegetarian very strict vegan since 2007 because for a split second I fell into it's so much cheaper to go meatless and meatless Mondays, and I've been slowly incorporating healthy lean meats back into my diet. I eat steak, at least 2 times a week. I eat the lean beef, and I'll tell you, my energy's back, and I've never felt this energetic in years.
Well, then
I
there's something there's something to that, because I see a lot of people bring it up. I know that it was some of those some of the smaller, or I don't know, not small, but there's a lot of murmuring about how a lot of the resistance or the pushback against ivermectin was really, it was the greater motivation was that if more people were to start taking it regularly, not only when they were sick and they want to stop viral replication or something like that, that there would be more parasitic purges out there, and people would realize that so much of our greatest health problems around the country might be parasite based. And I've seen those theories out there too, and I thought, hey, wait, I mean, not everything could be a parasite, just like not everything could be a virus or bacteria. So it's interesting. Your journey is interesting, and thank you for the call. I think a lot of
you're very welcome. And I just got to say, like I said, I'm very new. My mom's the one that told me about you. She's actually a sponsor, and I'm like 2 inches away from becoming a sponsor myself. And I thank you very much, and keep doing what you're doing, and I will enjoy listening.
Well, whatever is clever for you, as long as you're enjoying yourself. And I don't know if your mom takes part in book club, but man, I think that everybody should get in on book club. That's just awesome. We have another great title that we're going to read together on June. But as long as you're having a good time, I'll see you every night at 7:00. I'll be here. All right.
Yeah. Is that for book club? Is it Dandelion Wine?
Dandelion Wine is in June, and then Never Ending Story in August.
I'd have to. The only thing is, I need to, since I'm blind, I need to check and make sure it's an accessible format for me to take part and read.
Oh,
so
I'm sure.
I'll definitely check in on that.
I'm sure, and thank you for bringing that up, and thanks again for the call. There's quite a few people who are having just as enjoyable experience with the book club, who have just leaned into those audiobooks. For one reason or another. A lot of people are truckers. They're on the road a lot. So, a lot of the time they spend on the road, they obviously can't read, so they get into the audiobooks. People do it a lot. Plenty of us out there just reading the pages. But there's a lot of audiobooks that are available. All right. All right. Is there anything else that I have over here? We're going to get off a couple minutes early tonight. But let me see. The Sentinel said the Tom Petty comment from the other night was a link to lyrics. It's good to be the king. On topic. Tom Petty. 315. You're one of the last callers of the night. Go ahead.
Oh, my goodness. Frank. Let me turn off this show. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. It's going. I think we had a good one tonight. So what's up with you?
I agree completely. Thank you for delving into the entire Tartaria stuff. I just came across that. And funny thing is a channel called Static in the Attic. I don't know where I came across him, but he does a lot of like attempted debunkings of the technology not being possible. So I just find that interesting as much as the alternative theories. And yeah, it's just great show tonight, man. So many good things going on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. These are the good ones.
Go on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the guy with the charcoal grill, or he went to the propane. There's no shame in propane, but charcoal's great if you're cooking for a larger crew. But if you live alone or just a couple, yeah, there's no shame in propane.
No shame at all. In fact, on Saturday, I have to spend a good amount of time just completely scrubbing mine down. The Weber that I have, I have to go in. I have to disassemble it. I got to do the scraping and the scrub. I want it to be in prime condition for the official holiday barbecue season and all that other stuff. So I got that on my to-do list for Saturday. in between my Illuminati meetings, by the way. You know,
Of course,
yes,
obviously.
that's that. But well, thank you for the call tonight. You're one of many great callers tonight.
Thank you. Joe Valhu up here in Hughes, just north of you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, then have a good time up there, and maybe we'll bump into each other in the Adirondacks someday.
Yeah, anytime, man. Love your show. Thank you.
Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I know it's 10 to 9, but we've got a lot under our belt, and I just want to get out while we're still on top, you know? So tomorrow's going to be great. I've got Fleckus coming on the show. Matt might be here in studio. I never know totally for sure, but we'll see. And don't go anywhere. In fact, the one place you can go, regardless where you're watching right now, go to quitefrankly.tv, quitefrankly.tv, press play, and just wait it out. When I get off over here, in a couple of moments after that, we are going to have our good friend from the All Things Art Bell Rumble channel go live with a 6.5-hour marathon of all of the greatest hits of the Mel's Hole saga. It doesn't matter what the hell you're talking about. Just transport yourself back in time, decades, and just, I don't know, just bask in the late night talk glory of it all. All right? And thank you so much, because this episode was so jam-packed full of great callers. I love it. That is the beauty of open lines, and I will see you guys tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. No, we're good. We're good across the board. Oh, Poso for Hope on Rumble said, white pine needle, chlorine dioxide, fulvic and humic acid, chlorella, spirulina, all metal detox. Thank you for that, sir. I hope it's a sir. I actually never asked. And with that, we're done. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite frankly, this film for a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Stostube and Jay Britz, who are essentially bunkmates at this point, and to all of our wonderful super chatters on quitefrankly.tv, not to be outdone by Poso for Hope on Rumble. You guys and gals, you make the world go round. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our gold pillars, especially you guys. You are the real winners tonight. I really appreciate you. And I will be seeing you in the chat room on quitefrankly.tv. It's going to be a party all night. So go ahead and get some refreshments, kick back, and let's go travel back in time. See you there.